The Methodist Church seems to have had a covenant service, as it is called, and there is a video now going viral. Maybe you haven't seen it, but I'm sure by the end of the day it would have done the numbers. You probably would have seen it on Facebook, where police could be seen entering the church and going up to the pulpit to a point with rifles and removing the pastor before he delivered the message. And this video is what we are seeing right now pertaining this situation. And I saw this at first and I thought, what is the issue and what exactly might have prompted this? Because later on you do see some raffles at the background to show that there are people clearly having a dispute with the pastor or having issues either with the pastor or something, or maybe they were reacting like that to the police being in the church. But similarly, there was an altercation or something that caused this particular situation. And so I did find some other people that were actually speaking on Facebook concerning what might be the cause. And I think this particular person that I'm going to show you might know maybe some of the issues, which kind of explain why you see those people in the background. It is not clear because people are still dancing and whatnot. If you go to the particular church in question, as I mentioned, the Methodist Church thingy, William Ghana District, I think they call it Circuit 218. If you go to their page, they seemed to have been able to kind of continue on with their services after this whole entire jazz happened, because later on we do see roughly about 2 hours after, it looks like the pastor did deliver his message or something like that. So what was it that actually led towards that situation? On their page of the Circuit 218, they don't seem to acknowledge the situation. It's not even there. It's only the closing of the service, if you may call it that, here where they are having a song that is sung. The video literally starts like this, and then I'm guessing the pastor then shares this grace as they go towards a closing, almost as though nothing happened, you know. And so this is exactly what I want to talk about, okay? There's a lot of this where people pretend as if there's nothing that happened, and churches have gotten used to this culture of pretending as if nothing happened. And in social media days, things go or move very, very fast. And so that clearly might be the pastor that was actually removed off of the pulpit and so forth. And so the reason why I'm also saying that is because when that video came out, I was wondering, like, was there an issue? Like I said, the page does not even show it. This is clearly the same convention that they were at. This is way before that situation arose. They were doing their songs, they were doing their service, and the whole nine jazz. It seemed like everything was fine, but that particular moment where that happened does not appear in any of the videos or the streams that you see on Thingy. You actually do see in the comments of that last video where the pastor gives his thingy and says his grace and so forth. In the comment section, someone saying that Wesley Church is not changed, fights in the background, I wonder where it all started. So it seems like these are people that may know, because the fights that this person is speaking about here, it's not in the video, unless they deleted the video where that entire thing happened. And so you see these things, or you see comments on posted out or spoken about out there, but then this idea, okay, let me just give you the framing around the story before I talk about what I think. Someone says God cannot be mocked on that post, right, where the pastor is giving his thing. Someone says God cannot be mocked. Speaks about the service today was superb. Okay, no problem. And then you go on. Another person says Lord intervened in this church. The year just started. And there was someone actually saying, someone is asking about the song that they were singing at that moment. Someone then says, before incident, was this before the incident? Bazalwane, basically asking, was this after or before? This leads into confusions. When people see clips and then it looks like you are erasing the memory of whatever exactly happened. There is a lot of this. You see this culture of seeming or removing situations as if things never happened. I don't think this is the right way to go about things, because clearly the police were in the church. They could be seen in the video, okay? They could be seen in the video. They entered. They went up to the front. This is the same convention, same setting. Covenant service, as they call it there. I think they do communion on the service. This is clearly the same service. It's clearly the same service. See the decorations on the thingy. This pastor was sitting here. If you go and you check the videos that are on the page, it's clearly the same service. And so this, I don't think this benefits the church in any way, because you see what I'm saying when I say the setting of the thingy, when they were doing the communion and all that, the pastor was sitting, that I was pointing out, the decorations in the background. It's clearly the same service, right? But this culture of creating an environment as if, no, nothing like that happened, just deleting everything and so forth, it doesn't help. Okay? If possible, that the narrative from the beginning, from the get-go, should be set straight. So there is no gap in between the clip coming out and what exactly the situation was. You have that opportunity. You put it out. Okay, pastors, the district is dealing with this particular situation. There are members of the church that are not happy with the person who is either elected or who is supposed to be the pastor or who is pastoring and so forth. If that's the structure of the church, this thing of pretending as if nothing happened doesn't help it, because it furthers whatever narratives there are people who don't like church. So they use this, you see, they're always fighting. Churches, they are always fighting. You have an opportunity to put out the narrative direct from the get-go, from the beginning. So, because when I saw that thing, I was confused. What is this? What happened? It only took me searching for someone else, maybe who explains. And I found this person right here. See ya. And then he was explaining the tensions issue, and it's clearly the same convention and so forth. Clarifies what exactly is the situation. I believe at no point should a church be in the state. There were many instances where congregants voiced out their dissatisfaction about the current superintendent. I think that's the pastor. I think that's what they call them at the PEC 218, and there were no progressive strategies taken to revolve the tension within the church. Today, the congregants chose to protest just before the superintendent or the pastor, you may call it that, I don't know, they maybe they want to explain to us, why do you call them superintendents? Okay, superintendent, so that's what they call them, was delivering his sermon. I think we should consider the elderly who woke up early today saying they are going to church. Let's consider everyone who's feeling heavy in their spirit and needs the word of God. It's time for the Methodist Church, South Africa, and the two, I don't know which district that is. I guess maybe that's the one that acts in deciding who is pastor. I don't know the structure of this church. To act, give the people the reverend they want. At no point should we see firearms in the place of worship. It's bad. Something needs to be done. So that seems to be exactly what the issue is that so in different churches, the election of pastors might be set differently. We don't have to exactly oppose over this particular subject matter. You do see that in the election of people who are put in the forefront. You see, when you read the book of Timothy, you see that there are people who are elected even by the congregants. Okay? Yeah, you do see that in the Bible. It's not where he says, let a bishop be blameless. Let this person be blameless. The election of deacons, let them be blameless. Why? It's because, which is a tradition I guess has been lost, but in one of the schools where I was doing my theological studies, that thing was there. That before a person was elected, they would put out the names. These are the people we want to elect. If you object to anybody, please do send in. So we should be able to vouch for those people that are seen in front. And so for those that are saying, that might think a thingy, yeah, it's there in the Bible. You see Paul speak about it, right? Even when they were about to elect the 12th apostle, you see the others brought to the front for that particular election. Okay, so you see both methods. The leadership electing a person. Number two, the congregants voting that the person is reliable. The blameless part, that they carry themselves in a manner that others can vouch for. Right? And so maybe this is how this church votes in who is the pastor and so forth. And so he did post a different angles of this particular whole instant or of this particular situation here on his page, and you do see different angles. You do see different angles after the police go up into things, which is why I'm saying this whole situation of pretending as if there is nothing. This wouldn't be the first time you see situations like this. Here again, you see the police walking in right there at the top, and then that group that was at the background and so forth and whatnot. And so when the story comes out, you have the opportunity of setting the record straight, so that there is no point you are even having to make a correction concerning that. From the time the story goes out, the story is clear what it is. If I'm reporting it, I don't have to go out and search from other people, right? We set the story straight from the time when it comes out. But then this whole thing of delete it, you can't tell me you have a 2-hour video that shows a portion of the service, and then that particular portion where there is dissatisfaction of the pastor, superintendent as you call them, it just does not appear on your page. Or what is it? Being it, maybe they delete. You have the option of actually setting the record straight from the beginning. Right? Now, so that you don't have a situation where this story goes out and trends out for the rest of the day without us having the full story. You might decide to clarify it tomorrow, but you've had that for the past 24 hours, and there are people that are only going to hear that narrative. So you have an option of actually setting the record straight. Set the record straight from the get-go. So I'm guessing that's the situation here, because like I said, after you do see that the pastor delivered his message, and here it's towards the closing, you can see him now leaving the church and the leadership and so forth. At the time when things thingy, you don't shelve. Make it clear what exactly is the situation. Now, if there is furthermore, maybe I'm not seeing, or maybe that person who posted what the issue was here is not seeing, y'all can tell us. But I wanted to highlight that social media gives us that ability to set the record straight at the get-go. Right? And if it's your church that's trending, it's your church that's out in social media, and you know, clarify, because there are people who are searching to find out what exactly is the situation or the story pertaining that thing. Clarify so that you don't have these narratives that are false or so forth go out there. But it's tricky. The situation here maybe so far, as I see it and as far as I'm reading them, looks to be that there are people who are not happy with the person who is supposedly the preacher. That's what it looks like. If anything comes up, I'll give you an update. Strict Reality Show, the Daily Christian Commentary videos. Other episodes down today, they'll be down in the pinned comment. Should anything come up concerning this particular story, you have a little bit of context. And if I find something else, I'll come back and I'll give you the update.